Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
As an expert in your field, sir, could you talk to me about the 2010 election? Firstly, what was the key reason for Labour's failure in that election?
The key reason for Labour's failure?
In particular, Labour.
Well, I think the 2010 election, I mean, it was basically in the shadow of the financial crisis. So, that was really, Gordon Brown had been basically, in effect, blamed for that because he'd been Chancellor for so long before the crisis exploded, and then he was obviously Prime Minister at the time, and it really damaged his sort of and Labour's economic credibility. In kind of a similar way, you might argue that the same thing with the Conservatives in 1992, going out of the ERM damaged the Conservative credibility. So I think that was absolutely crucial, the 2008 crash. But there was also the legacy of the Iraq War. That was still, this was only a few years before, and they had not recovered from that. It was a massively unpopular decision in the country, and they suffered from that, even though Blair had departed the scene, as it were. That was still there. That was still an issue. And then there was the campaign itself, and I think you how much effect it had, but I don't think Brown came across particularly well either in the team debate or with the bigoted woman comment, as you might remember. Yeah.
All right. And what did the Conservatives do well in that election to get them the party's majority in the Parliament?
Well, they didn't get a majority of the parliament, but they were the biggest party, yes. So they had the first right to form a coalition, and I think the key thing was that Cameron moved them to the centre ground. So they were, as Nigel Farage had been sort of saying about the parties, you couldn't put cigarette paper between them, and Cameron, he was talking about smaller government and eliminating the deficit and everything, but I think they all were to an extent talking about bringing that down, and he was able to occupy the middle ground to make the party not look so extreme. He'd rebranded it quite effectively, arguably, so with even little things like the sort of environmental credentials, changing the logo. So he definitely, to some extent, detoxified the Tory brand, but they didn't get a majority, so obviously it wasn't an exciting manifesto, perhaps. Yeah.
And the final question is, what influence did the media have in that election?
Well, I think one of the big things was this was the first election where we had the televised leaders debate. So this was a new thing, and that outlet again, I don't think Brown did particularly well in that. Cameron did okay, but Nick Clegg was probably the leader who came out best in that. So that added a new sort of media dimension to it. And as I say, Brown came across as a bit defensive, and it wasn't like he was able to really establish any authority or anything that he may not have had. So there was definitely that, and then of course we had the bigoted woman comment. The media picked up on that quite a lot, and the backdrop of I forget which papers went with who, but the Conservatives clearly won backing of some of the major publications, and Brown's sort of economic credibility had been shot, and he could have, if he'd held the election, when he first became Prime Minister, in the first few months after he became Prime Minister, before the financial crisis, then he may well have won, but by that kind of, the media was able to pick up on that crash, and that did for him.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. Miss, what are your memories of the 1997 election?
So I was 12 in 1997, and my main memory of the build-up for the election, it was very exciting, and my main memory was the campaign. I lived in a marginal seat, so basically there were loads and loads of campaigning in my area, and they used to the Labour people used to drive around in a car with a loudspeaker strapped to the top of the car, and my house is on a main road, so basically constantly round and round and round, and it's all about this song. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. Right, hang on, this song. This is Dream, who, interestingly enough, Professor Brian Cox was a member of that band. Just a little nugget there. But basically, this song, Things Can Only Get Better, was on constantly on all the radio shows and everything, and they were literally driving around with cars blasting it out to loudspeakers. And I just remember hearing the song over and over again. And that song kind of encapsulates the feeling that the Labour Party were giving to people, which is things are going to get better. And the song, if you listen to it, it's a really good song. It's a very uplifting song, very exciting. So it was kind of this feeling that, you know, we've had all these years of Tory rule and now things are going to get better. So that was the build up to the election. And then in the morning of the election, I went to school and I sat down and I had a history first thing, and my history teacher came jumping into the room and went, Labour landslide! And she got the ball pen and wrote all over the board, Labour landslide, Labour landslide. She was like, the whole world has changed. She was like, nothing's ever going to be the same again. She meant to write in our books, Labour landslide, the end of Tory rule, and it really was like the whole world's going to be different from now. And Tony Blair was on TV, he was very young, and all the crowds in the street, if you can watch the footage, crowds in the street cheering, and there was this sense of optimism that was very exciting. And I said I was 12, so I wasn't sort of that interested in politics, but it did capture me. Like, I do remember it really clearly in this sense of like the whole world was going to get better, things can only get better with the Labour government. So seriously, that song, if you listen to that song, you will get the idea of the excitement of
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, the bitty, the bitty. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.